Bonus recording tidbit, it's so hot even at 6 a.m. that I can't even have the AC off anymore. If I didn't think that this would be a huge noise distraction, I'd probably record with the fan on as well. Hello and welcome to Precontation Points Video Snark. I'm making my way through Born at Midnight by CC Hunter. If you haven't seen the other videos, you might want to do that before jumping into this one, or else you might be confused. Links will be posted below. Chapter 7. At the end of Chapter 6, Holiday asked if Kylie wanted proof, and Kylie's response is pretty similar to mine. Yes. Yes, I want proof. Kylie thinks for a second that Holiday is going to say some cheerful but empty sentiment of believe in yourself or whatever, but Holiday calls somebody and asks to send Perry in. She then addresses the rest of the children and says that they can stay and witness this proof, or they can go and meet with a mentor who will be waiting for them outside. But all of the others choose to say. Kylie feels better about herself because all of this just seems too weird to take at face value. After a while, the boy with color-changing eyes from Kylie's bus comes in, because there's a camp full of new people, but sure, let's bring in a character that we're already somewhat familiar with. As he walks in, Kylie gets a sense of wrongness from him. Holiday greets Perry and then introduces him to the others as Perry Gomez. Why does he get a surname before the main character does? Anyway, Holly goes on to say that Perry is a shapeshifter and asks Kylie to pick something for him to shift into. Kylie says a unicorn, but Perry argues that those don't exist, despite the fact that Holiday literally just said, and I quote, "He can probably become anything you can imagine." This leads to a weird back and forth, with Holiday saying that unicorns once existed, Kylie being surprised, and Holiday affirming. She tells Perry that they're just horses with horns and do your best. And then Perry transforms into a unicorn, sparkles and everything. And in case anybody was wondering why it is that this book has 42 freaking chapters, it's probably because CC Hunter seems to value chapter numbers over length. I'm not necessarily saying that it's wrong to like short chapters. All I'm saying is that this was the entire 7th chapter. Chapter 8. The beast took 2 steps towards her, close enough she could have touched it if she'd been so inclined, but no inclination existed. I don't know why Hunter felt the need to spell out that Kylie didn't want to touch the unicorn. Kylie goes through a lot of different emotions, none of which she can name, and puts her head on the desk. Holiday asks Perry to change back and for the other kids to leave. When Kylie looks up, she's alone in the room with Holiday. Kylie also gets up to leave, but Holiday says that she wanted for Kylie to remain behind. Kylie then starts to cry and thinks about how her parents seemingly don't love her and how Trey dumped her. She asks Holiday why she's there, and Holiday repeats, "Because you're special," which isn't freaking helpful at this point. This prompts Kylie to say that she just wants to be normal and to do normal things. Holiday emphasizes with her and says that she was like Kylie once. For about the 3rd time, Kylie asks what she is. And then the freaking chapter ends, because getting to the point is 4 squares. Honestly, getting really sick and tired of these pointless chapters that are less than 2 pages and nothing of value happens in them at all. Chapter 9. Before I started to read this chapter, I just wanted to see how long that it was. 7 pages. Hopefully literally anything will happen in this chapter. Anything at all. Please, Hunter. I'm begging you. Holiday asks if Kylie can handle it. Kylie immediately says yes, but then almost immediately changes her mind. She doesn't want to be told that she needs to drink blood and says that she can't handle pain. She asks Holiday if Holiday thinks that Kylie can handle it. Honestly, I don't know you very well yet, but I trust Dr. Day's assessment of you. Kylie blinked. What does my shrink have to do with this? Your shrink, as you call her, is the one who recommended you to us. She recognized your gifts. She's half fairy, you know. This is something that's been bothering me about the entire supernatural camp business. I kind of figured that the shrink must know something, but at the same time, thanks for the heads up. Nothing quite like having actual proof that a client is not crazy, but continuing to not only let them, but their family think that their problems are inward. Kylie doesn't exactly view her doctor fondly, and with things like encouraging Kylie's still unnamed mother to ship her off to supernatural camp without telling Kylie or the mom what's actually going on, I can't say that I blame Kylie too much. Holiday says that most fairies are kind of weird, especially when you view them from a human perspective. Holiday then says that nobody knows what Kylie is, but that she has gifts. What are these gifts Kylie apparently has, you might ask? I have no forking clue because the book won't be bothered to explain any of this. The only thing that I can think of is that she's seeing somebody that nobody else can, but I hardly consider that to be a gift by any means. Kylie argues that she doesn't have gifts, and how could she? Neither of her parents are special. Holiday says that sometimes these things can skip a generation or two. Speaking of gifts, Holiday asks if Kylie can see or speak to the dead. Kylie at first denies ever having done this, but then she thinks about Soldier Dude. Her mom not seeing him is one thing because her mom honestly seems like a basket case, but the neighbor walking right past him at the post box, that's a little harder to ignore. Holiday says that she can talk to the dead too. She goes on to say that the dead are all around them, but Kylie is actively choosing to ignore it. She says that Kylie ignoring her gifts is a waste, which only leads to Kylie arguing that she doesn't want any of this, and then points out, how does Holiday even know that Kylie can actually talk to ghosts? She's seen one guy that nobody else can, but Holiday seems to have further proof. Which, if Holiday has actual proof, why did she wait until just now to pull it out? Why go through the whole thing with Perry and trying to convince Kylie verbally? Holiday walks and talks with Kylie. She says that other supernatural creatures can read each other and get a sense of what they are. However, nobody can read anything from Kylie, which is what that eyebrow twitching thing was all about. And Kylie is freaking Bella Swan in this regard. Ugh. That Holiday goes on to say that people who can communicate with ghosts have a different brain frequency, although they can learn how to adapt their brains. She then randomly gives Kylie a copy of her birth certificate, which, why does she have that? But then she says that every single person at the camp was burned at midnight, Kylie included. And title drop. Holiday kind of flips through the rest of the files on hand. The only name that stands out to Kylie is Lucas, if only because she knows him. And then Soldier Dude shows up. A few minutes later, Kylie eats lunch in the cafeteria alone. Sky and Holiday are talking to the two guys in suits who came up during the initial camp introduction. After a while, one of the guys in a suit screams out to figure out an unidentified thing or else the camp will be shut down. Now placing bets that Kylie is going to get wrapped up in this mystery. But Kylie wonders if this is possibly good news for her in regards to the camp being shut down. However, she also thinks that her mom would put her in a psych ward if she couldn't pawn Kylie off to a camp. Kylie also thinks about her powers and wonders if either of her parents can see spirits too, but she's also still high in the middle of her denial phase right now. She also wonders if normal people are born at midnight, which is quite frankly something that I've been wondering about too. But she's struggling with the idea of accepting her own powers and has no idea what she'll tell her parents. Anyway, back to the Sarah drama. Sarah hasn't even taken a pregnancy test, although she said to Kylie that when her mom leaves for lunch, she's going to go to the drugstore to buy one. She also hasn't said anything about who the baby daddy might be. Kylie wonders if Sarah might consider abortion. She doesn't think that her friend would do something like that, but she also never imagined that Sarah would get knocked up either. But enough about that. Back to Kylie's problems. And the topics in this book move back and forth so much that I'm suffering from a case of plot whiplash. Kylie is worried about being at the camp for 2 months, knowing that some supernaturals might kill people. She thinks that she's going to be spending the entire time sleeping with one eye open so that she isn't murdered in her bed. The conversation between Holiday, Sky, and the other two guys comes to a close. The fact that we only got that one little snippet of what was clearly a long conversation is a pretty big indication that this is going to be important later. Before one of the guys leaves, he tries to do the eyebrow twitch mind reading thing to Kylie, but it continues to not work on her, as Holiday had previously explained. As they leave, the other campers start to come in for their own lunch. She starts to think about what other kinds of supernaturals that there might be and starts to put them into two categories, those who would eat me and those who wouldn't. Derek comes in, looks around, and then comes over to sit by Kylie. She doesn't know what he is, but having a friend makes her feel less weird. He clearly tries to ask her what she is, but she only gives a vague response of, "It's been a crazy morning." Miranda and the pale girl from the bus join them, and Miranda says that the three of them are roomies. Kylie guesses that from the toad she saw Miranda with earlier that Miranda must be a witch. She wonders if Pale Girl is a vampire, and this scares Kylie. They're black and slightly slanted, exotic, as if she were part Asian. Oh boy, using the word exotic to describe Asian people makes me want to hurt somebody. pale girl friendly introduces herself as Della Sang, and Kylie finally gets a surname of Galen. Della then asks Kylie point blank what she is. Half of the cafeteria turns to look at Kylie then, but then somebody calls and Kylie excuses herself to answer it. She was expecting Sarah with the results of her pregnancy test, or even her parents, but not Trey. And I don't know, this book is chugging along, and there are several problematic things like using exotic to describe somebody's looks, racist much, and the weird subplot with teen pregnancy and sex. But overall, 9 chapters in, and it's not that bad. I mean, I've still got 30-some chapters left, so a lot can change in that time. Thanks for listening to my book Snark on YouTube. If you enjoy my videos, please hit that subscribe button. I post a new Snark video every Monday. Please don't forget to check out my other Snark videos as Stalking Jack the Ripper and The Plan. If you've already seen those, then you can head over to Tumblr for my main book Snarks. And if all of that is somehow still not enough for you, then you can become my Patreon supporter for just $1 a month and read a bunch of bonus books that aren't up anywhere else. See you next week, guys.